It's your girl Queen, reminding you guys to connect with us on patreon.com/TMG Fam, where you can get full exclusive access to all content, bonus videos, behind the scenes, vlogs, lives, and so much more.
What's good, TMG Fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction video, man. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Listen, man, a question has got to be answered, man. Something that, I don't know if it's just me, but I've always wondered, man, are the scenes in some movies actually real? Sometimes, you gotta admit, sometimes it just looks a little bit real. I know they get the perfect angles and perfect shots to make it seem real and everything like that, but in the back of your mind, sometimes you ask yourself, be honest, you ask yourself, you be like, is that real? So we about to check out a video that says 10 actors who actually did it on screen. This is about to be insane to me, man. This may prove a point that I've always wondered. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So let's check it out. Shout outs to Top Trending. That's where I got this video from. All right, here we go. Let's check it out.
The vast majority of films rely on body doubles and camera work to accomplish the illusion of actual sex acts between characters. However, there are a handful of movies that skip the smoke and mirrors entirely. These movies all contain real sex scenes between their actors. Some of them are extremely explicit, and others more subtle. The 2005 movie Lie With Me is particularly notable in part because of the two main stars. Eric Balfour and Lauren Lee Smith are fairly well known, particularly Balfour. The two engage in extremely graphic and also extremely real sex. Based on the novel by Tamara Berger, the film follows a man and a woman around the city of Toronto as they initiate an intense affair with each other. Lauren Lee Smith's character is portrayed as a sex addict and is therefore the main subject for most of the adult material. Some of the scenes include Lee Smith's character having multiple masturbation sessions, one of which took place in a public park, Smith filleting Balfour, partaking in public sex, and even sodomy. The film's release was unsurprisingly met with mostly negative reviews and disdain. Now it resides with a fairly dismal rating of 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Dang, 38%, bro. And you did all of that, and you got a negative rating. That's crazy.
A-list actor Chloe Sevigny made the mistake of agreeing to play the love interest in the movie The Brown Bunny, a mistake that would haunt her in her career for many years to come. On its release at the 2003 Cannes Film Festival, The Brown Bunny, an art house independent film about a lonely motorcycle driver on a cross-country tour, left audiences shocked, appalled, and disgusted, all because of a single 4-minute event which took place in the movie. Rarely has the controversy over a single scene eclipsed the whole movie as totally and as completely as the on-screen blowjob in The Brown Bunny did. Occurring late in the film, the scene in question had Chloe Sevigny performing unsimulated fellatio on Vincent Gallo's character, to the point of completion. To make...
Wow. I didn't even think that. Like, how does that even make it to... Why is that not, like, considered, like, porn at that point in time? Like, to put that out like that and for people to actually see it, like, they had to blur it out to put it on here. So I'm like, that meant you actually saw it on screen. Like, where's the line drawn of what's considered porn and what's not? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. And to think that a movie or something like that could ruin your career, that's insane. Something you work so hard for, and then it comes out and you get some negative publicity on it, and it kind of ruins your career? That's crazy.
To make matters more disturbing, Vincent Gallo, who played the lead role, also wrote, produced, and directed the film, as well as personally contacting Sevigny about playing his character's counterpart. Later, during a post-release interview, he stated that for months leading up to the making of the movie, he had obsessed with Chloe Sevigny and had wrote her character specifically for her to play. He hinted that if she refused the role, he wouldn't have moved forward with the film, almost as if he had ulterior motives. Over 10 years...
He looks sick, bro. He looked like a crazy psycho dude. And for somebody to write the role specifically for you and that part be in it, I'm like, yeah, something wrong with that dude.
Later, Sevigny has been able to recover from the blow her acting career took from the controversy. Director Lars von Trier has become quite well known for pushing the envelope in mainstream movies by choosing to unsimulate sex scenes, so pairing him with actor Shia LaBeouf is surely guaranteed to produce something controversial, especially considering actor Shia LaBeouf is also no stranger to pushing the envelope for the cameras. He had already risked it all by exposing himself in a music video for artist Sigur Rós, but he took himself a step further when he starred in Nymphomaniac alongside Stacey Martin, taking on possibly his most mature role yet. Shia LaBeouf has confirmed that in the flick, nothing was off limits, including the script's real sex scenes. The film Nymphomaniac follows the story of a young self-diagnosed nymphomaniac, played by Stacey Martin, as she recounts her staggering amount of erotic experiences to an older man who just found her beaten unconscious in an alleyway. Many of those erotic experiences recurringly featured Shia LaBeouf. Recently, however, Stacey Martin had stated in an interview that while the sex is real, LaBeouf and her never actually consummated their contracts. She alleges that any and all real acts were performed by pornography actors with their faces overlaid onto the porn stars, which directly contrasts claims previously made by Shia LaBeouf and Lars von Trier in multiple different interviews. Since Martin's reveal, the two have again stepped forward to reinstate that the fornication scene on screen was in fact nothing less than authentic, which begs the question, who's telling the truth? Love?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like how as an actor or actress, like, I guess that's really like taking your job seriously, or just being a rebel saying, you know what I mean, I just want to go to depths and beyond what anybody else has ever done, or I want to take it to the next level or something like that. You, like, seriously? And I want to know, like, the spouses, or, you know what I'm saying, how do they feel when you see them on screen actually performing? Because some of these people actually have significant others.
Was Argentinian filmmaker Gaspar Noé's first film after a 5-year hiatus. There is a plot to love, but that's secondary to the sex. Gaspar Noé's love story is relentlessly graphic, shockingly explicit, and yes, filmed in ever so popular glorious 3D. You could call it porn if you like, but you can't deny that the acting and story are exponentially better. The erotic drama about a film school student named Murphy, played by Carl Glusman, and his ex-girlfriend Electra, who is captured by Aomi Muyak. The two's relationship comes to a tragic end when Murphy commits infidelity with a girl named Omi, played by Clara Kristen, that resulted in her getting pregnant. Half the film takes place in bed, with unblinking and unforgiving extended takes of Glusman, Muyak, and Kristen making love to each other. The director gets up close and personal in order to express the deeper mysteries of relationships, but the message was ultimately lost. The director faced a lot of criticism, namely because his previous films had received such high acclaim. People had high hopes that he would break boundaries and redefine acting in cinema with love. Yet somehow, against all odds, having Carl Glusman's ejaculated semen 3D jump off the screen and toward the audience members didn't change the cinema industry as we know it. I guess love's just tricky that way.
Man, you can't be praising somebody too much, man. You know what I mean? He was hailed as this guy that was about to break barriers and bounds, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna take it to somewhere nobody has taken it before, and he did. He did. He gave y'all the money shot.
Unwittingly taking method acting to a whole new level, the Twilight famed actor Robert Pattinson has recently opened up about explicit male-only sex scenes in the Spanish film Little Ashes, in which he played the surrealist artist Salvador Dali. The film, directed by R. Pats, focuses on Dali's love affair with the esteemed poet Federico Garcia Lorca, played by Javier Beltran. Pattinson claimed that director R. Pats, who is known to be a stickler for perfection, absolutely refused to settle for anything that he didn't feel was authentic enough, which stirred up tensions between the two when filming the climax of the movie. The scene called for Pattinson's character to pleasure himself thoroughly until he too had climaxed. Arpats was continually dissatisfied with Pattinson's performance. With each take, he would demand another reshoot. After multiple reshoots, Pattinson finally caved and begrudgingly agreed to take the final step to help capture a truly authentic experience. Albeit embarrassed, Pattinson fully committed to doing a take of him actually masturbating on camera. Just to add insult to an injured pride, the A-list celeb went on to add, "We were all hanging out by the pool trying to loosen up. I was nervously clinging to the edge, and before I could turn around, Javier Beltran was already naked. He happily swam toward me, Rob continued about the gay sex scene, and I didn't have a clue how to react. I felt like Mr. Bean. No doubt that filming sex scenes has to be awkward for movie stars, but it's unlikely that a majority of them have had to do the dirty deed in front of the full camera crew and a nude grown adult. Pattinson said that the whole ordeal was so traumatizing he had promised himself he'd quit acting if the movie was complete.
I gotta show Queen that she is a huge fan of Twilight. And when she sees this, she's gonna freak out and be like, oh, what? Are you serious? No, he didn't have to do that. Like, that's insane, man. Like, some of these actors are gonna really need therapy after that. Bro, they're gonna need therapy. He is truly gonna be messed up. You can tell how they're describing it. When he turned around, the dude was already naked. Like, are you serious? This is insane. I've never heard. This is crazy.
However, he didn't stay true to his promise, as a few days later he was offered what ultimately proved to be his career-making role as Edward Cullen in the Twilight series. If you happen to be looking for a movie that is so discomforting it'll give you goosebumps, then look no further. The movie Dogtooth is the film for you. Directed by Giorgio Lanthimos, this film features some brief but very real adult encounters. The film delves into the taboo topic of incest, as it tells the story of a girl's dysfunctional upbringing that is a direct result of her father's forced reclusion. The children are forced to stay on their family's property, being shielded from the outside world and all the bad influences it offers, as the father describes it. The critically acclaimed film circles around the perverse storyline of the three teenage siblings, as their dysfunctional lifestyle spirals them into isolated madness. Being played by Angeliki Papulia, Christos Pasades, and Mary Son, the unsimulated scenes cut to the core, and truly display the type of unhealthy mindsets that can develop from isolation and lack of control over one's body and life, ranging from the two girls Angeliki Papulia and Mary Son using oral sex as a bartering system for items from the outside world, to the parents forcing the brother Christos Pasades to choose which sibling he prefers as a sexual partner. The film hits the nail on the head with making you feel uneasy. Would you willingly admit to actually doing the deed on camera if it turned out that it was so atrocious to watch that it ended up on Nerve's list of the 50 worst sex scenes of all time? Well, for Kieran O'Brien and Margot Stilley, they saw no shame in openly admitting to doing the deed on the set of the 2004 movie 9 Songs. The feature film is about a relationship between a college student named Lisa, played by O'Brien, and a British scientist.
That's crazy. For you to actually get the courage up to do it on screen. Build up the courage only to get met with pushback of it being terrible. Like, they're all gonna need therapy, I'm serious.
Named Matt, played by Stilley, who for the following months after meeting at a rock concert have intense sexual encounters. The movie also includes real concert footage of the Dandy Warhols, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, Franz Ferdinand, and many others. According to The Guardian, 9 Songs is the most sexually explicit mainstream movie ever released, and considering there are multiple unsimulated sex acts between the two leads, it isn't all that surprising. Unfortunately, most critics uniformly disliked it, with audiences' opinions following suit. Most considered the film pretentious and boring. Mostly known nowadays for playing the role of the antagonist President Snow in The Hunger Games, Donald Sutherland has had the good fortune to play many iconic characters throughout his long acting career, including playing Hawkeye in MASH, John Bridger in The Italian Job, and of course John Baxter in the 1973 movie Don't Look Now. For many years, rumors had spread that Sutherland and female lead Julie Christie were actually intimate during the shooting of Don't Look Now. For an unknown reason, any and all attempts to get a direct answer from anyone involved on the movie are refused. It wasn't until 38 years...
Have y'all seen any of these movies? Because I've yet to come across a movie yet that I've actually seen. Let me know if y'all seen some of these movies.
Years later, in 2011, when news editor Brian Clark finally revealed the truth and confirmed what everyone had already suspected. Starring aging acting icon Marlon Brando, then aged 48 and exuding aggressive masculinity, and Maria Schneider, an unknown 19-year-old French actor. Last Tango in Paris, released in 1972, was undoubtedly one of the most influential and controversial films ever created in the last century. Featuring one of the most infamous movie sex scenes ever filmed, the movie upon release was denounced for being too obscene, and found itself being steadily banned in a growing handful of countries, including many areas of Britain. The film, a tale of lust between an older man and younger woman who meet for anonymous and increasingly racy sexual encounters, gained unexpected worldwide attention due to the controversy, which for Mariah Schneider proved to be too much for her to handle, causing her to embark on a path of self-destruction with fraught romantic entanglements, suicide attempts, and a lapse into drug addiction, eventually falling back into obscurity. However, 35 years later, after the passing of Marlon Brando, she returned to finally put a rest to the question everyone had been asking: were the adult scenes real or faked? She admitted that the scenes were authentic, but added that she believes she and Brando were heavily manipulated by the director Bernardo Bertolucci into performing the act.
And that's what it is, man. These directors corner you in a room. They tell you this is gonna propel your career, or this is gonna do this for you, and fill your head with all these obscene things, man. And it's just not. It's just only for their benefit, man. These directors are crazy.
Sadly, Schneider later stated in the same interview, "I felt humiliated, and to be honest, I felt a little raped, both by Marlon and by Bertolucci. After the scene, Marlon didn't console me or apologize. Thankfully, there was just one take." Before playing any of his breakout roles such as Alan Troy in Jarhead and Hector Hammond in Green Lantern, Peter Sarsgaard played a lead role in The Center of the World alongside Molly Parker, most notable for her portrayal of minor characters in The Road and House of Cards. Publicly released in 2001, the film's story revolves around the life of a depressed computer whiz on the verge of becoming a dot-com millionaire, who offers a lap dancer at a club $10,000 to spend 3 nights with him in Vegas. She accepts on the conditions of 4 hours max per night of erotic play, and no intercourse. The movie became most infamously known for a scene in which Molly Parker inserts a lollipop into herself. And no, it did not end up in her mouth. In addition to the lollipop scene, Parker performs many suggestive acts on Peter Sarsgaard, including but not limited to coitus. With the film lacking any real story and primarily being filled with adult content, critics blasted the film, giving awful ratings and describing the movie as nothing more than a high-budget pornography. Luckily, Peter Sarsgaard was able to bounce back just in time to get a major role in the equally as disliked movie The Green Lantern.
That's crazy, man. These directors are insane, man. And the things that they pull and they do and they manipulate and tell these actors that, you know, they can do for their careers if they just do this one thing is insane, man. It's gotta stop. It's gotta stop, bro. This is getting ridiculous, man. A lot of these actors are messed up. The one girl tried to commit suicide. It's just insane, man. Insane. Y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. You just can't fathom some of the things that actually go on out here in this world, man. Leave a like, share, subscribe, and stick around and stay tuned, man. It's your boy L. To the next reaction video, man. I'm out. Peace. Y'all stay solid. Hey.